What's going on, everybody? You are watching King David's Kingdom. I am your host, The King David. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like the video. So I would like to discuss with you all why a woman's delusion is always her downfall. This all starts with programming from an early age. A lot of these younger women are extremely programmed and have been socially engineered since a very, very young age. Now, especially with the single motherhood rate rising and has been on a rise probably since the 60s and earlier than that, but it's starting to it's starting to grow rapidly now. But there's a lot of programming, especially these younger women with Cardi B nowadays. They're coming up during the era of Cardi B. The women over the last 10 years grew up in the Nicki Minaj era, which Nicki Minaj also did an interview, and in an article she basically said how she regretted how throughout her career she's kind of encouraged or influenced women to become Instagram thoughts and being basically social media prostitutes and that sort. So it's become like a domino effect in terms of uh, going to Cardi B, Meg The Stallion, so on and so forth. So Beyonce has also played into it, hence the name Beyonce, as in Beyonce, meaning she's beyond criticism or beyond what anybody has to say, which is nothing more than just feeding into a female's ego and narcissism. But they view the minority as the majority and the majority as the minority, or they just ignore it or just overlook it in general. They look at the smaller percentage of something happening as there's a higher chance of that happening. So all of their friends, all of her friends and family, such as her mother, which you'll hear her mother say things like, "Oh, I wish I was still single." Or why you complain, especially if the female is single, she's not dating or just getting over an ex or her ex-husband and things of that sort. You'll hear the mother say, "Well, I wish I was still young and I could do this over or do that over." If the mother is married, see, I grew up in a household where my father, just to be quite honest, my father was a beta male. So, my mom kind of like, she had the ultimate authority in the house. So for us, my mother had the last say so, whether that was, going outside curfews and things like that. She had the final say. So for, women, they'll say, well, they had a beta male, so they'll say, oh, well, I wish I would have did this differently. I did this differently, and I would have enjoyed my time of being free, dated, went on, various dates and, many dates and things like that. But not knowing in her mind, she's basically just feeding into that delusion, because if she was in that same position, most likely 9 times out of 10, she would be doing the exact same thing that, she's teaching her daughter, telling her daughter not to do. She'll probably be going down the same path. She'll be, dating all these men and still be depressed because she's living in a delusion, not knowing that she's married and she could be happy in her relationship, but she is basically seeking validation from others. And she's also a narcissist as well. So she hasn't taught her daughter how to actually, she's been basically worshiping herself as society has told her to do since a young age. So as a mother, she's teaching her daughter to basically go out and have fun. And she basically will be just as miserable as her daughter is at that time, because she didn't follow the order, the order which is to make sure the man is happy and make sure you be, to help nurture and be a, to be a helpmeet to the man. So, all of her aunts, sisters, cousins, best friends, they all are living in this delusion. So that's why it's hard for women to escape the delusion, especially when everyone around her is encouraging her to have that delusion, to think with that delusion, instead of them saying, hey, you're repeating the same mistake over and over again that I've repeated. And maybe you should have been more submissive and teach them how to be a wife and teach them, learn how to cook, clean. It's like a domino effect, and the females keep this going, but it's just the daughters copy that same delusion. And this is why when you have a conversation with the women, They're always saying that's not true, or that's not true. For example, like I was having a conversation with a female about cell phones and why if I was to have a child in this generation, this time, that my child wouldn't be able to have no phone. Like especially in today's time when everything is being overly sexualized and everything is accessible. She says, well, a child is going to sneak and do it anyway. So I said, well, if that's the case, and this how you counter them. You say, well, all right, well, then just allow your son to hang with the wrong crowd. Why you don't let your child hang with the wrong crowd or just smoke weed or play with guns and things like that? She'll say, well, that's different. He's going to eventually hang with the wrong crowd, play with guns, go out, just let him go outside and do what he wants. But you know why she won't allow him to do that? Because she's protecting him from the danger. And that's why a woman's delusion is her downfall, because she don't. That's why a man is more logical. Like we all know, like this, it all comes down to logic, and we know that men are more logical than women, despite us being told that women have always been more mature than men. Women are smarter than men, despite us being lied to. We've been lied to all these years, taught that, oh man, women are smarter than men. Women are more conniving. They're more sneaky than men. So, like I said, she's protecting him from the dangers of society. What happened to oh, well, he's going to sneak and play with guns? Why you don't say that when it comes to him sneaking out and hanging with the wrong crowd? Why you don't say, oh, he's going to sneak and hang with guns anyway and play with guns anyway or hang with the wrong crowd anyway, so I might as well just let him go out there and do that? No, you're not going to do it because you're protecting him. And it's the same thing with playing with a cell phone or having access to Instagram, TikTok. Like this younger generation has way more access than we had. And they're being influenced because a lot of these young males, they don't have a father figure. They don't have someone around them to guide them in the right direction. The mothers are just as young as the younger girls. So they can't guide them and, guide them in the right direction. Because they haven't been, it's like a domino effect that's going on. So a child shouldn't be knowing about, like even with the Dwayne Wade situation, right? With Dwayne Wade's son. It's like, well, we knew about it, but we just didn't care. We just had fun. We didn't care about all that stuff. We was playing basketball, playing sports, or doing certain things. But like at this age, they're being exposed to way too much. But like I said, a woman's delusion is always her downfall. Like B. Simone saying she wouldn't date a man who works a 9 to 5. But those type of women don't even date. They don't even get a chance to get with entrepreneurs, because most of the time entrepreneurs, they don't even look in their direction. They don't want them, right? They don't want them. Like she's too picky. She believes that being independent and having her own will attract a high quality man. When you say most of these women are thoughts, or, majority of black women are single mothers, or the father is leaving, majority of black men are deadbeats. She says that's not true. That's because they aren't connected to reality. They live in this fake delusional world where they see their favorite celebrities are married, not knowing that it's starting to be very rare that you see someone who's, you're starting to see a lot of married couples. A lot of women, she believes her looks will last forever. She's a prisoner of the moment. Women think a lot, especially when they're young, they think a lot with their looks. They think that their looks will last forever. They have so many men who are simping and giving them everything that they want when they're young, when they're at a young age. So you have all these men offering all this just so they could have, I don't want to say sex on here, but I'm going to just say, because I ain't like I'm getting paid right now anyway. But, men want to have sex with them. So they're going to tell them what they want to hear just to have sex. Right? So they think that, that these looks are going to last forever. But when they get older, so they, have all these, unrealistic expectations and requirements when they're young. But then when they get older and older and older, they start to sag and start to look differently. The delusion is not allowing herself to be accountable, to hold herself accountable. She has all this narcissism. She's always thinking, she thinks she knows everything. She thinks she has all the answers. This will lead her to being lonely forever. And she's going to eventually going to be on the outside looking in. And this is why I say that, because they're going to be red pill men and they're going to be blue pill men. The red pill men, like I said, are also the MGTOW men. All these men, black pill, whatever you want to call it, all these men are going to be going their own separate way, chasing what they believe in. And these are going to be the small percentage of men. And then you're going to have the blue pill men who are into rap culture and, simping over females. A lot of these men are going to become, like I said, are going to become homosexuals. That's why you see the man bags are starting to be popularized. You're starting to see a lot of men walking around with man bags. See the Uggs, you see quite a few men walking around with Uggs as well. But right now, you're seeing that what's becoming popular amongst hip hop culture is men wearing basically purses, but they call it man bags. I said, man, I was like, I seen like my brother wanted to get a man bag. I was like, nah, bro, you're not about to catch me with no man bag on. Like, you're not about to see me with no purse on, right? Because that's what it is. Ultimately, that's what it is. But, women, they're highly influenced to lust after this perfect man, which just doesn't exist, especially when they're young. They want a man who's 6'3", above 6 foot, 6-pack, nice house, nice car, doctor, trapper, thug, all this stuff balled into one. They believe they could think like a man. They don't believe in biology. They don't believe in science. They don't believe in none of this stuff. They think that they have all the answers. They think they could do what a man does. And this is why they're lost. You see what I'm saying? And women that say, well, they always say that. They say that's not true. That's not true. That's because they're living in a delusional world. And there's beta men who think exactly like they're emotional, so they're thinking like women. So they'll say the same thing. That's not true. And they'll make you think that you're crazy. You're seeing this with your own eyes, but they're telling you you're crazy. So that goes to show you how delusional they are. Because they're so focused on this reality world that's been created from people who are in control that you don't see. And like I said, all the time, I tell women, or I just tell people in general, finding a good woman nowadays is like finding a $2 bill. They do exist, but they're extremely rare. They're extremely rare. Right? And then you'll hear a female say, oh, that's not true. That's not always true. Right? Well, tell them to go to their local store, go to the grocery store, go to the gas station, go to McDonald's, go to Taco Bell, go to whatever restaurant and see what's the chances of you finding a $2 bill. They'll be like, oh, somebody gave me a $2 bill the other day. Maybe they did, but it was rare. You're proving my point. You're not going to just find a $2 bill laying around on the ground. You're just not going to do that. You have a better chance of finding a $1 bill. When you go to the store, they're going to give you a $1 bill. You have the chances of you getting a $1 bill, $5 bill, a $10, $20, a $50, $100. Those chances are more likely. And that's why I said they look at the minority as the majority. They look at the small percentage of things as the majority. That's how delusional they are. These women are very naive to a lot of things in life. They're easily deceived and manipulated. They can't see what's right in front of them. Oftentimes, these women, when they choose men, a lot of times they pick the same type of guy. Because most of the time, a female chooses, this is what I say all the time, a female typically chooses the type of man that her father was. And a man oftentimes chooses the type of woman that his mother was. So psychologically, a female is looking for a father. So if her father was a soft beta male, society is telling her to go after a thug who, basically society tells her to go after this alpha male, but tells her to go after this bad boy, All these different qualities society tells her to go after, but she ends up choosing the guy like her father, which is the beta male. They're delusional in their mind, and they look at everything as entertainment. They want a sociable guy who could talk around a lot of people and make her laugh all the time. Be entertained. These people want to be entertained every single day. And then they have all these different mood swings. And she want for you to be able to switch moods along with her, not understanding that men aren't like that. So like I said, she watches she watch a lot of entertainment. A lot of radio programming, a lot of reality TV shows, whether that's Love and Hip Hop, whether that's Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's constantly on the Shade Room. She living in this delusional world. This is why when you have a conversation with women, most of the time she'll say, well, women want to be approached like this, or women want to be approached like that. Never ask a fish how to catch a fish. Ask the fisherman. A woman's delusion has her believing that every man will want to be with her for the way that society and feminism is encouraging her to be. But the that are decent men, the guys that are decent men and are of high value, these men, they're starting not to want to tolerate those type of women. They're not wanting to tolerate that type of behavior. And the first thing you'll hear them say is, the women I'm speaking of, they'll say, I don't care. I don't care. Society is telling them that if they act a certain way, they can attract a certain type of man. But as they get older, they end up lonely, and all those men are gone. And then they're trying to figure out where are the real men at. They get these fake butts, fake eyelashes, fake breasts, excessive filters. And this is being told to them that this is the true definition of true beauty. But it also adds to the fire. It adds gas to the fire to a female's delusion. Society teaches them to worship themselves and be narcissists. And, they hate being bored. They want to be on their phones 24/7, which is probably at the top of the list. Which is probably at the top of the list of feeding her delusion. And when they take off this makeup and excessive filters and all that, they're even more miserable, adding more and more fuel to their depression and their delusion.